Hello and welcome back to Game Vitamins. My name is Nick, and yes, I was just hiding behind a wall of Dominaria United. Maybe that's a lot more lame than I thought it was going to be, but anyway, I ended up buying 36 boxes of this set, draft boosters. Opened up 30 of them so far. I left one box sealed just because might as well. And today's video is all about seeing whether or not we pulled enough Sheoldreds to make our money back. Man, this is awkward to reach over. But no, this is not the amount I pulled. Oh, I dropped one. Not the amount I pulled. I have been doing this over time, so I have sold off several already. But with them being at $95 on direct, it really makes or breaks this set if you don't get enough of them. So anyway, today we are going to be going down to the computer, doing a usual box analysis, but well, in this case, it'll be a case analysis. I couldn't track individual profit and numbers for every single box, but we will see whether or not we made any money doing all of this. I will say, again, with Sheoldred, whoops, sorry, I'm all over the place. I don't have a lot of room to move around back here. But with Sheoldred being worth that much, you can see how it really changes the picture if you get 1, 2, 3, 4. It makes a big difference. So anyway, if you are new here, my channel is all about building a Magic the Gathering business from the ground up. And that's what we have done so far on this channel, and part of that is breaking through a ton of product in order to find margins. So before I go any further, let me move some of this stuff around so you're not just staring at this wall for the whole entire video. And then let's start taking a look at exactly how this all broke down. Okay, 1 second. Okay, that is certainly a bit better now. Anyway, before we actually get to the numbers, I thought that it would be a good idea to talk a little bit about the target cards, the things that really make or break this set. Because with draft boosters especially, you are looking at 540 cards per box, and there's really not too many of them that have a ton of value. Again, it's mainly Sheoldred in this case. There's Timeless Lotus, Liliana of the Veil, and Zor. So I'm going to put those cards up right here real quick while we talk, just so you can get an idea of what their current market prices are, or, well, TCG direct prices. Since I operate in direct, maybe I'll do that, or maybe market. But anyway, those are showing now. And the thing with this set was there's really not a lot of value in the commons and uncommons. There's Cut Down, which is a great uncommon. It's like $4.50 each. And then there's Negate, which is $1.37. So I really only picked out those two cards out of the commons and uncommons. There are others, but with this many boxes, I really didn't want to spend a ton of time sorting through these commons and uncommons for like 25 cents and up, because I have the card sorter coming soon, and knowing that it's on its way, I'm trying to focus my time only on the higher value cards that are actually worth the time to even look at. I mean, I was rifling through these packs, and if you were really to scan every single one of these cards, I mean, I don't know, what is it? Okay, we have over 16,000 cards opened and 19,400 total. So that is a lot of manpower to look through. So once the fizz batch gets here, I'm going to run all of this bulk through and figure out what the market value is. Maybe that'll be a follow-up video. Maybe it'll be a video where I run like all of my bulk through, including like Karlov Manor and those other sets that I've really hit heavy on, like March of the Machine, where I've done like dozens and dozens of boxes. So with that being said, when you take a look at the numbers, I am hypothesizing on some of the bulk value, but I really did take it conservatively to make sure that I don't overestimate the numbers. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than say it's a higher average and, just be bummed out when it doesn't hit the mark. So without further ado, let's get down to the computer. Let's take a look at the numbers. I'm going to shrink myself down, throw myself in the corner, and we can see how these cases winded up. It's a lot of numbers on the screen, I will say, but I will do my best to walk everyone through it. And if you have any questions, just throw it down in the comments section below. And if you want to see more crazy openings like this and, my journey on Direct and how that's been going, subscribe for future videos because I would really appreciate it. And everyone who has so far, I appreciate you. I really do. It's been a lot of fun. So let's get right into it. Okay, here we are. I am down to the numbers, and you can see that we have a lot standing out here. This would be crazy if I actually did it box by box. If you've watched my other videos on Karlov Manor, on March of the Machine, you know that I have gone box by box, counting the amount of mythics, rares, uncommons, commons, averaging those out based on a couple scans of the initial few boxes that I add to the inventory. But in this case, we really only focused on mythics, rares, and then cut down and negate, as well as the lands, because we have the stained glass lands in this set. I will throw up the photos of those here. They look really good. People still love them. They go for a pretty penny, and honestly, after opening all of this, I think part of my reward to myself is going to be tricking out my two favorite decks with these lands. I've been building a crazy Nekuzar deck, as my patrons know. Sheoldred is in that deck, and to honor Dominaria United, all stained glass lands. So I didn't take those out of this calculation. Honestly, I have a lot from when I did Dominaria Jumpstart as well. So anyway, let's get into it. Now, again, we went by cases. Number 6 is still sealed right up here. One thing that is really interesting before we get right into it, I know I keep saying that, but when you open up this volume of product, which if you've done this, let me know, you start to see patterns, and really the averages are a lot closer than you would think. I mean, the amount of lands here across all of them, we averaged out to about 52.5, but you saw that it stayed very consistent. Similar with mythics. You had one that pops up a little higher than the rest. I put that 2 there because I only got 2 Sheoldreds. The first one, 4. Again, I thought I made a great decision, and then 2, 1, 2, 2, and 4. So I got really lucky on the first case, but you do start to see that in general, everything averages out pretty darn close. And the reason that I like seeing this is because when I talk about calculating EV and going to websites like Mox Alpha, which by now you guys know that is just what I use currently for all my EV calculations because it saves a lot of time. It is kind of pricey, but to each their own, depends what scale you're doing this at. You can actually go back and forth and say, okay, well, my per box average came pretty darn close to the average EV. So it's nice to see that things do average out across all of this product. It makes you more confident in future moves that when you're running your numbers, your expected value can be pretty accurate to what it actually is, after opening everything. So without further ado, you can see the count for every single rarity. Lands, the commons, uncommons, the big thing though is the price points. Okay, so you can see that I made an absolute killing on the first box regarding the mythics because almost $400 in Sheoldreds popped up. So that really changes the game in terms of how well you do with this set in particular. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I got all of these at $73 per box. Now I think they're closer to 100. They're hovering around 100 depending on the site. TCGPlayer, actually, if we go over to Mox Alpha, we can check. Low price of 100, market price of 104. So yes, you could, I don't know. It's probably not worth it, to be honest, at this point. But for my sake of my journey, this was certainly part of it. I lucked out, bought a ton of it when I saw the deal, and here we are. So the Mythics, heavily driven by Sheoldred, again, Timeless Lotus. Those were two of the more valuable ones. Zor was a really expensive one. And then we also had, again, Liliana of the Veil, probably the top 4 cards. You did get good value through some of the lands, not just the stained glass lands, but some of the non-basic lands. And what else drove a lot of... I mean, there was pretty good value across the rares. I mean, in general, we averaged, a little over $1 a card for all the rares, and there was, plenty that were pretty worthless. So that being said, uncommons, this focus was only cut down. There might be a lot of other cards, not a lot, but there might be other cards that hold solid value that I should have pulled out, but the card sorter will help me with that. Commons, again, this is only negate, but I'd say the more important thing here is the dollar values. So you can see that this is what I scanned out of each box, being the sum of everything that was scanned. That's where I pulled the value for these boxes. I add the bulk value in after the fact at 5.5 cents per card. Now, in previous videos, I put it at a higher number. People didn't really like that. So the reason I did 5.5 cents per card, my logic behind this, is I compared several different bulk listings on eBay. And when you take out the shipping cost and then the eBay fees, it comes out to around 4.5 cents per card. I think that that's a good target. I dropped it to 5.5 in this calculation to account for the shipping cost. And over on the fees, it's about 13.25% to eBay. So doing that, it comes out to about that 4.5 cents per card for bulk. Now, I think I might be slightly undershooting this. Again, probably not by much because my EV did average out pretty close to what it would be through, again, like Mox Alpha. It's too bad because if we go back, you can see if I did this about a month ago, the overall card values were looking quite a bit better per box, but it's neither here nor there at this point. It's been a little slower to ramp everything up, but bulk value, that is how I calculated it. I think that is a much more conservative approach because we will pull out all of the value with the card sorter, sell those at TCG direct prices now, and then the rest will be sold on eBay. But it almost becomes a wash because the more that gets pulled out, it gets charged at a higher, they won't be worth a ton, and they'll also be at a higher fee percentage. And then the bulk being sold on eBay through sets and lots will be at a lower percentage, but also lower card price. So again, I think we have a pretty accurate representation here. So we averaged $718 per case in scanned value, $160 in bulk value, totaling $880 in cumulative case value, and $146.60 per box. Again, this came out right where we would want it, right in line with the EV. I wish I did this a little sooner. But now we want to look at our profit. What did we come up with in terms of end numbers? Now, I mean, if you're taking a look at this, you can probably see, okay, this $1,000 is highlighted in green, but let me show you how we got there. Now, I have fulfilled like 6 or 7 TCG Direct RIs, each of which have been anywhere from like $500 to over $1,000 a piece. After all of those, I'm going to do a video on this. So again, subscribe if you want to watch it. So I really break all of it down with the fees. But the way TCG Direct works is the higher the card value, the lower the overall percentage you're paying is. And my focus has been the higher value cards via Direct. So my average fee percentage through Direct has been about 31%. So here you can see that I took the overall value. You can see I didn't include the lands because I plan on selling the lands as land lots through eBay at a higher price point than what they sell for on TCGPlayer, because these are very popular land cards. If you want a full set, one of each, I will link my eBay listing below. It's comparable to other eBay listings that sell one of each. But if you've like watched Rob at RNG Games, like there is a discrepancy between TCGPlayer and eBay. Different types of people browse each site, and in this case, I can probably get $2 to $3 per land versus on TCGPlayer it might only be like $1 to $1.70, I think is the Plains, which is the highest, and Swamp being the cheapest, around $1. So I didn't actually take the higher price point on the lands into account on eBay at all. I did it at market price just to, again, stay conservative with my numbers. So this sold via Direct is at a 31% fee rate on the overall cards that I scanned in. So you can see here, sold via Direct, we'd be looking at a total of about $2,200. Via eBay, this is all of the bulk, the lands, after shipping costs, and after the trading card fee for eBay, about $1,000. So we're pretty much doing all of this after fees and after shipping. This might look a little bit lower because of, say, the direct RIs that I'll need to fulfill. But again, on average, the shipping gets spread across so many cards because I'm doing at least 100 orders a day at this point that it's negligible. It does affect it. Maybe it's like a couple cents per card, but overall, it's not affecting these numbers too much. So with all of that being said, this is looking at the after fees income per case. So I added all of those together, and the big part here is taking out the box cost for each case. So after we take out the $73 per box, 6 boxes per case, this is what we came out to for profit per case. Now, wow, actually I didn't, it went down each case, unfortunately, even though some of these looked like we were going to do better. It's nice to know that this didn't totally bank on Sheoldred because, obviously the top one did the best, but even the case that we only got 1 Sheoldred, we did better than some of these where we got 2. So there is a good amount of other value in here. Worked out. So here we are, profit per box. We total up to about $1,050 across the 5 cases. Now, what everyone always asks me, how long did this take? So to break down a case, to scan the valuable cards, input all these numbers in here, per case was about 2 hours. So 5, we were at 10 hours. 10 hours, profit is looking at about 1,050, so it's a little over 100 an hour. So there you go. That's what people always ask. Now, no, this is not going to be accurate, because the tough part here is, like, you can't break down every single minute per card and per box. It's going to be lower, even if you add an extra 10 hours of fulfillment, which I don't know if it would be. I fulfill like 300 card RIs in an hour and a half or so. So I don't know. I mean, you could do the math on all of it, but right now, the way I look at it is this is all in my inventory after 10 hours. Then there's the side of going in, picking cards for the RIs, and mailing them out. On a time per card basis, it's not that time consuming, but obviously that would be factored into this. But I hope that paints a little bit more of a picture. I always tell people, like, it doesn't really matter a whole lot when you're starting off anyway, because you just got to try a lot of different things, and some will be a hit, some will be a flop. This one worked out to be pretty decent. I mean, overall, we're not working with like Modern Horizons 3 here. I mean, you can actually, I mean, I got these boxes at like a third of a cost of a Modern Horizons 3 play booster. So it's all relative to the scale, but as a percentage return, not shabby. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. So I am overall content with Dominaria United. I have other products that I'm doing this with, Infinity, and as I mentioned in my last video, I have about the same amount of product of Modern Horizons 3. I still have behind me 6 boxes that are unopened. I've opened up a lot recently and uploaded those to my inventory because I have over 30 more boxes inbound. I found some great deals. That is going to be a super interesting video because everyone loves MH3. I really like that set. I mean, there are just so many bangers. I mean, the cards are phenomenal. Even the rares, a lot of the uncommons, you're getting so much value from each box. It's crazy. So that's going to be a really exciting one. Though on a percentage basis, it might not, I don't know. I don't know if it'll hold up as much, because the one thing about Modern Horizons 3, I won't talk about it for too long because that's going to be its own video, is the value of MH3 on direct is actually crazy. I mean, per box of the ones I have opened, I've been looking at over $400 in value, because like the spread on direct for some cards it's kind of crazy, but I get it. I mean, like I mentioned, I was building out my Nekuzar deck. I wanted a lot of specialty cards for it, and I purposefully purchased them through direct and spent more to make sure I just got it all covered in one big order. So yeah, I mean, convenience, people pay for convenience, and that is why I am using direct numbers for all of this now. It's what I'm currently selling on. So unfortunately, if you do want to buy singles from me, they would be at a higher price point. But if you want to anyway, I would appreciate it. The link to my account is in the description below, as always. Otherwise, what else? What else? Where are we at? Okay, well, my camera told me it's time to stop recording because it cut out. So thank you, Sheoldred, for all you did with this set and helping me make a couple bucks. If anyone wants a Sheoldred, go check out my store. These will all be on there. Again, I've already sold through most, but, well, I say most. How many did I get? 2, 4, 6, 10, 11. So I've sold 6. I've got 5 left. I've got one showcase Sheoldred, which is actually cheaper than the rest, interestingly enough. I actually like the art. I'm going to keep this one in my deck because, I guess it's cooler. I don't know. Maybe I'll swap it out. We'll see. Thank you all for watching. As always, we have a lot coming up. I always say that, but if you made it this far, maybe you're willing to listen to me ramble about it for a quick minute. But MH3, I want to do this for Unfinity. The sorting machine is coming in. We're going to run through so much bulk. I mean, out of stuff I haven't opened, I definitely total have at least like well into the 6 figures in terms of bulk cards just sitting around. I mean, again, this alone is probably like 15,000 cards worth of bulk. So we have a lot to do there, and I'm looking forward to continuing to hit it hard in the new year. So get this out before the end of January. We'll do a direct recap at the end of the month, taking a look at all of my sales, the total volume, total income for the month, and it's actually going to be a little bit hard to calculate out like profit on all of it just because of how the volume at this point. But anyway, we will address that in probably the next video. So subscribe, stay tuned. Thank you all for joining. If you're a patron, thank you so much as always. I've said it in the last several videos, but the Discord has been awesome. Everyone is communicating a lot and being very active and helping each other out. And there's always a lot for me to catch up on every time I open it up. So it's been awesome. Thank you all, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.